Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now this week it looks like we were shocked yet again by Medarot making even more friends in high places, this time collaborating with a special light series that started as a light novel all the way back in the late 90s, and that is the series Full Metal Panic. I have not personally seen a lot of this series myself, but I have heard very good things about it from friends of mine that have, and already just from the looks of it, this is going to be a very exciting event, not just with the introduction of the collaboration models and events, but also with the introduction of a new mechanic that has been slated for a good couple weeks now, if anything, that will be going live this week. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week going forward, starting with this week's Gacha Banners. First of which, as you see here, we are only seeing 2 of 3 of the revealed models of the collaboration. Those are FMP0 Kashim Lest with a kit of Commander, Survivor, Pile, Biped Legs, and the Holy Grace leg ability. Behind him, we also see FMP02 Sil Belial with the kit of Precognition, Mega Gatling, Rail Gun, Float Legs, and the Fortress leg ability. So naturally, but just between these 2 bots alone, we are seeing not 1, not 2, but 3 more brand new skills being introduced to the game. Just to go over them briefly, essentially as to what each one covers. Survivor, starting with Kashim Lest, simply put, it will inhibit the use of any healing-based skills. So think of it as essentially Canceller, but with a very niche kind of condition to it. Precognition is more or less essentially Hypercrept 2.0, as instead of granting 2 random buffs across the team, it will instead grant 3. And then lastly, Railgun, more or less, based on what I understand of it anyway, is essentially going to be a shooting variant of Pile, which is a conventional melee skill with pierce damage and defense ignore. Railgun simply will be a shooting version with the same bonuses and modifiers. Now, as mentioned, we are only getting the first 2 this week, meaning that the event and the collaboration itself will be split off over the course of 2 weeks before anyone else majorly is introduced or brought in going forward, which I think is perfectly fine though, as this honestly gives folks a lot of time to actually catch up on recuperating rubies, to shoot for either of these models or even save them for next week. Now, with reruns, we actually were also teased a little bit more and kind of given a hint of who was incoming even before they officially announced them. And this week, we are seeing reruns of KBT-06 Arc Beetle D with a kit of Laser, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of B-Loader. Behind him, we also have his counterpart, KWG-06 Tyrell Beetle, with a kit of Desperate, Double Beam Sword, Biped Legs, and the Fortress leg ability. And then last but not least, we also have everyone's favorite female devil type, DVL-03 Blossomale, with a kit of Destroy, Double Sacrifice, Shooting variant, Biped Legs, and the Bloodstain leg ability. Now, all 3 of which are also fully capable of transformation and meta change forms, thus with Arc D having a kit of Hyper Beam, Power Rifle, Mega Gatling, Flight Legs, and the Adapter leg ability, essentially converting him into a much faster and stronger Arc Beetle in this case, as to be expected. Tyrell Beetle changes his kit out entirely for a kit of Laser, Break, Napalm, Wheeled Legs, also with the Adapter ability. And then last but not least, Blossomale transforms into Triple Destroy shooting variant with Multi-Legs and the Destroy leg ability. Now, of the 5 we have this week, naturally you want to focus on the Full Metal Panic models first, as those are naturally collaboration models and therefore likely not to come back for a good long time if you miss them. But if you somehow find both models already in your hands or relatively quickly upon launch, all 3 of the models shown here you really can't go wrong with anywhere because they all have a very useful skill one way or another. Of the 3, I probably would put Blossomale on a little bit lower of a priority, given that her skills are something you can find moderately easy elsewhere, unless you're just in really desperate need of someone with Destroy and Sacrifice for female teams. With the Fierce Battles we have this week, it's going to be relatively low-key, but also with some very handy skills all the same. Starting the line is MON02 Kiru Mashira with the kit of Heal Trap, Double Sword, Biped Legs, and the Spearhead leg ability. Behind him is his counterpart and twin MON03 Iru Mashira with the kit of Heal Plant, Double Free Shot, Biped Legs, and the Gunman leg ability. And then last but not least, someone we haven't seen for a pretty fair bit of time now when it comes to fierce battles and who is able to be farmed. And that is KZA-01 Kaizo Korobe, the pirate henchman type, with a kit of Gatling, rifle, sword, biped legs, and the acrobatics leg ability. Now, of the three, you really can't go wrong with any of them, to be completely honest, as sword and free shot are honestly fantastic pretty much anywhere, no matter where you choose to use them, for their incredible balance. Free shot in particular, I would definitely give MVP for that fantastic use to capitalize on for any teams that say can't use melee skills for one reason or another. Kaizo Korobe also is pretty well balanced in that respect too. His arms and his legs you really can't go wrong with using anywhere, even though the head may not be something you use super often. That being said, if I did have to give the MVP of the week to somebody, I would honestly have to give it to Irumashira in this case, given that free shot is something you can use a little easier right up front and is moderately affordable to raise too, as it does not need to be fully capped at 5-star to capitalize on the freezing ability that it does grant. Kaizo Korobe and Kirumashira are also still very good though for the conventional rifle from Kaizo Korobe or the basic sword between the other two. Now, naturally, with the collaboration itself, we were also announced that we are getting special limited skins applied to all three of the collaboration models. All three of these skins here in particular will be paid skins, meaning that they will come with a small bundle of rubies, each for about between 20 and 30 bucks each USD, if you are able to make purchases or if you choose to look into that endeavor. The skins honestly do look really nice, not gonna lie, and I have mentioned it before, and I will say it again. I do honestly really have to appreciate the fact that Imagineer and So What, as the developers of Medarot S, are going the extra mile not just to make the skins simple recolors and calling it a day, but they're actually remaking the meshes entirely to make it not more of a cosmetic and more so of a aesthetic change than just a simple color palette swap, which is even more so nice as well, given that skins and paint chips also stack, as a friendly reminder. Now, with the event itself, before I do get into that, it is also going to highlight and touch base on another mechanic that is going to be going live this week that was announced a couple weeks ago, and that is the Medarot ability mechanic that goes live. This will introduce a new permanent banner to the Gacha Banners that are available to be pulled from. One draw from these will give you one Medarotter. Naturally, 10 draws will give you 10. But these will give you specialized versions of Medarotters currently available that are classified as rare and super rare. And these particular Medarotters actually will grant you the ability to grant extra bonuses or extra abilities on your turn when you choose to activate them. More details on this will go live once this mechanic does officially get implemented and I get the chance to learn about it and how it works, so I can make another breakdown if necessary. But if you find that for some reason the mechanic breakdown in a 101 isn't necessary, that's perfectly fine too. Feel free to just let me know, and I'll coordinate it from there essentially. But again, that mechanic is officially going live this week with the introduction of the Full Metal Panic collaboration, and in particular we are seeing 3 Medarotters here. Specialized skins for Arase, Hisaki, and Ibuki in particular, and looking forward to seeing the abilities that they offer and how well that they choose to change up the fields in this respect. Now, with the event itself, it is pretty much second verse same as the first, more or less same as any other event we've had up to date. And with that, we essentially will have the chance to pull for and earn limited rewards, such as, say, more rubies, more resource materials as necessary. But the big name materials coming out of this event over the next 2 weeks include a specialized Medarotter Hattori skin, and I do want to specialize and clarify in this case that this is the new Medarotter version. This isn't the old one that's just a Medarotter with passives. So if anyone does not want to go after the specialized Medarotter banner that goes live this week, we still do have an option at a free one, essentially, that we can make use of. In addition to that, we do also have access to the Mercenary medal to be added to our roster and library of medals to choose from. With this one having a Hunter Nature medal, it is honestly very fitting given its theme, so I am looking forward to seeing the particular stats and specs that it offers once it does officially become available. And then last but not least, we also have a commemorative profile banner as well, just to signify and tell people that you were part of the event and you had fun with it and collected all that you could. Now, with the event itself, they did also highlight with it that it is going to be ticket based, which means mixed parts will be encouraged if you want to maximize your bonuses across the board. And thankfully, it looks like they're learning from previous ticket-based events, in my personal opinion, given that even with blue ticket and silver ticket in this case being two completely different ones. They still are offering it as a way with, say, Cross Messiah in this case, as well as Blossomil and Tyrell Beetle, as a way for even the free-to players to still earn something along the way, without having to pay too heavily or become very pay-to-win in this case, which I honestly very openly welcome. Once again, this particular event is ticket-based, so instead of using pure sets, you're going to want to spread load your parts across the entirety of your team. That means in this case, if you say collect Tyrell Beetle and Kashim Lest, you are going to want to divvy their parts of the 8 of them across the team. So say give an arm of each to one ally, the other to another, and then head and legs to a third to capitalize on those bonuses. Now, on the community front, we are still always looking for translators for the Medarot 3 and Medarot Reloaded translation projects, so we can enjoy them here on the West Coast as well. Medarot 3 has been making some very good progress as well. There is still, however, a lot of coding and cleaning and translation in particular that needs to be done in order to finish out that patch. So if you are versed in coding or cleaning in Japanese and have some time on your hands, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide. You're more than welcome to reach out to me or reach out to us in our community and ask around, and we're more than happy to get you up to speed on everything that has been done and everything that still needs to be finished to date. As of current, there has been talks to start up on Medarot 4 since a good chunk of the legwork on 3 has already been finished. But again, we are always in need of manpower and hands. So if you would like to assist with that and help bring these games to the West as even fan translation and mod packs, we are more than appreciative of that. Now, with the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, I found a couple really nice pieces as well through this week, earlier through this week. This one in particular by Twitter user 12150ru, who did this very nice piece highlighting a lesser-known Medarotter and character from Medarot Navi, and that is Fubuki, who, if I recall correctly, was the head of security on the cluster space station when you first are introduced to her, as well as her partner Ptolemy, who we have seen countless times already in Medarot S. This other piece here by Twitter user Tai Aramu highlighted a customized model they made in the same scale as the 1/12 models that we have official versions of up to date. And with this one was a scratch-made model of Chaos Fixer, the Azathoth type, and final boss of Medarot 7. Fantastic work with this model in particular. It looks very, very well made. I'm looking forward to seeing more from you as well if you are working on any other projects as of current. But with all that, I believe that covers just about everything for this week's episode, so I do appreciate you all for stopping by once again. If you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page or the Metabots Forever communities on there. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below, and this will give you an up-close and personal ear to the action for anything related to Medarot. This includes my weekly episodes, any updates, new merchandise that went for pre-order or for sale, Medarot art, any other projects or endeavors. That Discord server, which is official Project Rising Beetle Discord server, will be the first place that you hear about it. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at IsaGamiKura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comment or suggestions, my DMs are always open for that very, very reason, so feel free to stop on by and say hello, and don't be a stranger. Lastly, do also give these wonderful friends of mine a follow as well, and fellow Metarotters. This one, Twitter user Hirokana S, and I have to say this one in particular is very, very special. Why, you might ask? Because if Horima Rin is known as the creator of Medarot and what gave us such a wonderful series, Hiranokana S here in particular was the story writer for the original first 5 games, as well as returned for story modes arcs 5 and 6 for Medarot S. So very, very big name in the community as well. Definitely give her a follow if you are looking for more updates on that, or even would just like to reach out. Do also give Mecha Desperado, also on Twitter, a follow. I have highlighted her relatively recently as well in the past as another Medarot-based streamer, or Metaloid if I recall correctly, based on what was explained to me. She has been doing a lot of Medarot content as well. I think just earlier today she was playing Medarot GM online, playing with friends. So if you would like to see more of that, definitely give her a follow as well. But with all that being said, I do appreciate you all for stopping by once again. It's always happy to have you in for a visit. Until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.